أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Felicitations and tabrikat to you all on this Mubarak and blessed occasion, and that's the birthday of our Imam Jawad al-A'imma, Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salatu wassalam. The title he holds is Jawad, known as Jawad al-A'imma. His kunya, it's Abu Ja'far, and born on the 10th of Rajab, lives for about 25 years of age, is poisoned by his wife, and he attains Shahada. Father, it's the 8th Imam Rida alayhi salam, Muhammad. And the mother, it's Sabika, and also known as Khayzaran, salamullahi alayha. I'll quote a hadith from the Imam. We'll talk on this a little bit and then continue with the topic, and that is Ma'rifatul Imam and knowing the Imam. Can you remove this partition from here? Imam says that لَعَمْرِي إِنَّكَ حَقِيقٌ بِأَن تَسُرْ إِن لَن تَكُنْ أَحْبَبْتَهُ. Says that, I swear by my life that you deserve to be happy, and that is if you have not made your tasks ineffective. That is, or that you don't waste or lose your actions. Imam talks about Habt Amal in this hadith. Habt Amal means that we do things, we perform the deeds and actions, and it so happens that we lose it. It goes waste. For example, a person throughout his life, he is punctual in all his prayers, in his amal, in his hajj, in his worship, everything. He does a sin. A sin is committed from him, and as a result of that sin, whatsoever he had piled up in these years, they go away, they wash away. One of the sins that do have this effect, and that is they result in the habt amal, in the washing away of the actions of an individual, it's backbiting. And there are many other sins. For example, if someone was a good person for a long time, for many decades in his life, and God forbid, he becomes a kafir. So whatsoever he had done throughout his life, whatever how much it was, all of that is going to go waste because of that one sin. Imam says that. Now the person who asks this to the Imam, he is a dignified person, he is a practicing Shia, that Imam talks in this way, that if you want to protect your amal, you have to be very careful. Now, many a times, performing a salat, for example, it's easy. But safeguarding that prayer, it's tough. A person may have performed a hajj with all those pains, with all those expenses, but maybe he does something, a sin he commits, as a result of which that hajj of his goes waste. The prayers that he has done, all of them go waste. Now, to understand this with a very easy example. For example, someone gives an X amount of money as charity, as sadaqah, infaq, or helps someone which is good. Hadith and Ma'asum, they say that this help or that infaq or that sadaqah of that person, that will be registered and recorded as a confidential act before Allah. So long as no one knows, he has helped someone, he has served someone, so that act is safe and secure before Allah. If he goes and says to someone, the person who he served or anyone else, the moment he says that I helped him out, I did that, Ma'asum says that that which was registered and recorded as a confidential action will be now in an open action. Something he has done, and it will come from that confidentiality to an open file. And then says that if he does that again and says that to someone else, that I served him, I helped him out, I paid that much to someone, then says it will move from that file of confidentiality to the open file, and the next step is in the file and the performance of Riya. Riya means shirk. Riya means whatever he has done, everything is gone, everything is washed away. Why is that? Because Riya means he has done something not for the sake of God. That is, he has acquired a partner, a sharik to that action, and when a sharik comes in place, then Allah has to set aside. Because Allah does not go with any sharik. May that be for His existence Himself. That's why we say, La ilaha illallah, He is only one. Only one in His existence and only one in all the actions that we do. So if anyone becomes a partner of those actions, then that action is gone. It's washed away. That is called Habt Amal. And the moment he starts magnifying it and telling others, that is the moment when he loses it. Now this person who asks the Imam, that is the Jawadul A'imma alayhi salam, he says that, Imam, can you explain a little bit more? And then Imam recites this ayah from Quran saying that, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tubtilu sadaqatikum bil manni wal adha. That, O you who believe, don't make your charity, don't make your sadaqat worthless by reproach and injury. Bil man. Man means minnats, means favors. You've done something, you've topped it up with favors. It was me who helped, it was me who served, it was me who did that, it was me who made it. With that me, you've lost it. And then Imam says that you've lost it. And then he says, Bil manni wal adha. Adha means injury. This person asks that how come a person can cause injury by promoting what he has done? And then Imam says again, replies that, bil manni wal adha, that is by promoting your own action, ayah doesn't say that you've hurt the person who you've helped. Bil manni wal adha. And then he says, how can that be? Says the angels, maybe that person who you have served, you haven't told him, you haven't informed him, but maybe you said that to a third person, a fourth person, someone, but the person who you have helped, he doesn't know. Imam says that, although he doesn't know, the angels, they find out, they get hurt, they are injured by this deed of yours that you've shattered the dignity of someone. And then says, even if the angels, they don't find out, we find out. We, the A'imma, know what you've done. That manni wal adha, that is favors, that is reproach, that is having all these favors on that task which you've done, it's dangerous. So we have to be careful that the actions that we do, we have to safeguard them, we have to save them, we have to protect them. Because by just a little removing the stopper, you find everything is drained out. All that hard work of all those years of service and worship and all that. And again, there is another hadith from the Imam. He says that there are three things that will make a servant reach the pleasure of Allah. And what is that? Says that first of all, seek the forgiveness of Allah a lot. If you find no solution to the closed doors before you, no outlet, says astaghfirullah a lot. Astaghfirullah throughout your day. Astaghfirullah. So those closed doors they will open up as a result of you asking Allah for that maghfirat, for that forgiveness. And if there are no sins that we have committed, and yet the doors are closed, they will prevent the doors from closing in the future by that istighfar, by that maghfirah that we seek. And again, Imam says that being humble with the mankind, again that seeks the pleasure of Allah. And the third thing is that by paying sadaqah. Sadaqah could be anything, any service, any amount that a person could do. Now, our greatest problems that we have is that whatsoever we do, we just lose it. We just lose it. Now, if all these actions that we've been doing for so many years, if they were safe and secure, then we would be in a better position. Now, why is that these actions that we do, they are not safe? Because they are contaminated. They are mixed with good and bad. So if they are good only, then they will enlighten us. Because our good, it's mixed with bad, that is why we have all these problems. There is a leakage. There is something which is just resulting to drain all these actions. For example, we'd say our prayers, wajib, mustahab, we fast. Immediately after that, we backbite. So there is a sin which has contaminated all those good things. Or we have tawassul, we serve, we help others, and all of a sudden there is this lustful sight to these trash that we have around us. So there is all that purity in us, and at the same time we have all this filth, which is the contamination, which result in these actions of ours go waste. So we have to be careful. So immediately after a good deed, a sin is done. In one of these states, 2 years ago, in the month of Ramadan, a person, he came and he said that they sell fresh chicken. That is, you select a chicken and he slaughters it for you. That is fresh. He says that I went to him and he slaughtered a chicken for me, and he said, and he sliced it, it's all ready to take. He says, I don't want that. He was talking to someone, all of a sudden he sliced that chicken, and he says that's najis. Why is that najis? You didn't say Allahu Akbar, you didn't say Bismillah on it. Then he says that when I come to the shop, I say Bismillah once in the morning on the knife, and it lasts till 9 to 5. And that is, he's doing a good deed, and at the same time contaminating it with that wrong. And then when he is objected that I don't want that chicken, give me another one, he says that if I was to say Bismillah on every chicken, then I would have been a waliyullah, not a butcher. So, a good deed being done, which is making things halal, but in a bad way, which again makes it contaminated. So, good and bad. No matter when the our performance becomes like that, no matter how many prescriptions you get from whoever, we want a dua, we want a prayer so that this problem can be solved, it will never have that effect. Unless a person cuts down on his sugar, on his salt, the prescription of a doctor will never work. The same thing is over here. Unless we cut down all this wrong that we have in our system, only then will that prescription, that dua, that prayer, that recital, it will have that effect. Otherwise, they do have effect. Because we are not observing that diet, the spiritual diet, they don't have that effect. To understand this in an even better way, Marhum Rajab Ali Khayyat, among the Urafa, who lived 70, 80 years ago, a person, a good person, a nobleman, a pious person, working in one of these organizations, and his work is in the filing section. His boss says, get me that file, and it was one of those important confidential files, and he searches for that, he doesn't find it. Looks everywhere. Now that filing section, he was the only person in charge who looked after it, and no one else came in there, and he was working there for many, many years. And then he doesn't find it. The boss says, I want it, it's very important, I want it in the next 2 hours. He says, I can't find it. He says, anyway, I want it by the end of the day. He doesn't find it. Says, first thing, after this weekend, I want it, and if I don't get it, then you have very severe consequences that are facing. He comes to a mosque, has a tawassul, asks Allah to help him out, that God, you know that I've been working sincerely, I've lost that file, No one else came to that place, nor have I done anything wrong to it. Help me. He comes out of the mosque, someone hits him and says that the answer or the solution to your problem is with Shaykh Rajab Ali Khayyat. He says that, how did he know that the solution to my problem is there? And how did he know that I've got a problem myself? I never told anyone. He says, there's a hint that has been given to me. I ask who this person is, Shaykh Rajab Ali Khayyat, and what his address is, and I get to that address. There many people were sitting, and I was also one of them, just waiting for my turn to see him. And when everyone went away, before I could say who I am, before I could say what my problem is, he says, Sheikh says to him, that you go and fix yourself with your sister. That is, you haven't spoken to her for the past 3 years. Her husband has died. She has 3 orphans. You never asked how she was coping, living with the 3 orphans. Go and fix that, patch that relationship with her, and everything else will be okay. He comes straight to his sister. Now the first instance was from the mosque. Answer is with the Sheikh. Comes to the Sheikh. Before he could say who he is, he has told everything to him. And then he comes straight to his sister. There's a pleading, crying between the brother and the sister, and then they patch up. He goes and buys some grocery for her, leaves some money there, and then says, I will visit you regularly from now on. And when it is the first day of the week, Saturday there in Tehran, comes to his workplace, finds the file in the first drawer on the topmost. How was that? Now, because he was a good person, Allah found a solution for him. Allah wanted to open his eyes. Many a times, it happens in our life as well, that we get blinded, we don't see things that are just in front of us. We don't hear things that are just happening by us. That is Allah, He shuts some of these outlets that we have so that we come to ourselves, so that we know what's happening. This is again the same thing, that many a times we find that things they become, that prescriptions are there. They don't work because there is a problem in us, and unless we fix that defect, that problem will never be solved. So we have to look into ourselves, that what is wrong, where it's wrong, so that as a result of it, the prescriptions also they would work. So Imam says that things that are draining from your sack, where you are holding everything, where you want to save all these actions, they are getting lost. Protect them. Heart, it has to be clean, it has to be pure, and only then will any person benefit. We don't go and make a place of worship, for example, near a recycling bin where you've got all this sewage waste, everything. A place of worship is made in a good place, in a pure place. Now this heart, it's a pure entity, it's a pure place, a pure thing, and Imam al-Asr, he says that the heart of every Shia is my mosque. It's a great word which Imam says. So we are weak. The performance that we do, there is contamination in it. There is all this is a lesson to myself first. There is a lot of filth and contamination in it, and we have to practice and put things right. One of the ways how it's said to us that how do we practice? Ulama of akhlaq, they say that if we have, for example, an X amount of defects in us, problems in us, may that be pertaining to our speech, the problems a person can have with his tongue, the sins that are committed from the ears, from the eyes. They say that if a person is sincere and saves and protects himself for 40 days, then after 40 days, he is secure. He is guaranteed that wrong that was in him, that will be put aside. If someone hears trash, listens to trash, for 40 days he strongly works on himself, stops hearing that for 40 days, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says that man akhlasa lillahi arba'ina sabahan jara Allah yanabi'a hikmatihi min qalbihi ala lisanih. That someone who was sincere for 40 days, what will happen as a result of that? Allah will make wisdom flow from him, from his heart to his tongue. So that 40 in ours plays an important part. And loads of ahadith. We recite all of these ziyarat. For example, it's a custom in every center that on Thursdays, after Dua Kumail, we recite ziyarat warith. We have to try and do something that these ziyarat that we recite, we upgrade them. It shouldn't be just a mere recital, just a mere ziyarat that we have. Upgrade the way it is recited, upgrade our position that is held in the presence of Ma'asum. It should be as such that if the performance is good, if the actions are good, and that contamination also doesn't exist, the moment we say Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, or we say Assalamu alayka ya Sahib al-Zaman, then a person can get a reply saying that Wa alayka salam from the Imam. That is possible. And there have been people who, whenever they say salam to the Imam, they get a reply back. They hear a reply. So we have to give a different approach to our worship, to our prayers, to our ziyarat. Try and do something so that we also keep away from all these contaminations. And it was mentioned in these etiquettes for the salat that we talked about in the past few days, that when we come to worship before Allah, we hold our position as weak, as meek, as someone who is helpless, and someone who has approached someone who is almighty, possesses a position which is so lofty, and an existence who is so great, and we are all filth and he is all pure. The same thing is when we come to the Imam, that we have come to someone of that great position and we are so weak. We come to the Imam with that humbleness, and with that humbleness we can get a reply. In a report from our sixth Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, Imam says that don't sin, don't commit a sin. Why? Because my mother, she understands, she knows, she sees, and then she cries. Why does she cry? How does she cry? To understand this, now when for example, if a reciter talks about Hazrat Zahra, says the oppressed lady, the one who was crushed between the door and the wall, someone who was hurt, someone who was bashed, we find that when these sentences are uttered, automatically there is a change in the tone of the speaker, there is a change in the audience, and these tears, they roll down. When we have that link that whenever we talk about her, we cry, she also cries upon our performance, upon the sins that we do, on the wrong that is done by us. And then she says that, shame, he defamed me again, that Shia of mine. And again, with reference to her, it's amazing that she counts every Shia as her own children. In the Madinatul Rasul, that is Medina of the Holy Prophet, during the lifetime of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, she comes to the people, to the houses of the Muhajirin and Ansar, says, I am the daughter of the Prophet. If you have any problems, let me know, I can sort them out for you. If your children don't have food, let me know, I can provide that food for you. And in that Medina, whenever a child cried, no matter where in Medina it was, she becomes restless, goes to that place, helps him out, serves him. So that is the connection which she has with the Shias, as if they are her own children. There is another hadith, our sixth Imam in Medina. He was in the street, and there was this guy, a faithful Shia, but with a contamination in his performance. He was drunk. As soon as he saw the Imam, he turns away and goes to a wall so that Imam doesn't see him. Imam comes to him and says that although you've committed a sin, but don't turn away from us. Why don't turn away from us? Says that because they want us, they don't want us to get hurt. He says that if you've committed a sin, still remain with us. Because if you turn away from us, you will be punished, you will be hurt, and that hurts us. We don't want you to get hurt by that punishment. That is the akhlaq that Imam possesses. They say that we love you. We want you for God, not for your own self. The moment you are hurt, we find it out. You ask for prayers, we say Ameen. You've got problems, we also are hurt with them. You fell, we say ouch. You get hurt, we feel the pain. So we've got A'imma of that greatness, that whenever we are hurt, they find out. Elsewhere, Imam, he says that Wallah ma akhafu alaykum illa al-barzakh, that by God I don't fear for you anything but barzakh. And then continues that فَإِذًا يَمُرُّ الْإِنسان بِهَذِهِ الْمَرْحَلَةِ بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ أي بعد دفنه بالقبر فالقبر أول منازل الحياة الأخرى كما قال الرسول إن القبر أول منازل الآخرة فإن نجا منه فما بعده أيسر. Says that when a person enters his grave, that is the first station of his barzakh, if he passes from that grave, then he is fine. The next stations are going to be easy. Says if he is detained in that first station, then the rest of the stations, many a times they have listed as many as 100 stations. Sometimes they say it's 1,000 stops that a person has to pass through. It's going to be tough. So we have to correct our performance. All this wastage that we have to correct it. One of the things is that we have to change our approach in how we address the Imam, because we have to increase that ma'rifah day by day. We have to know them better. If we had just stuck to Ziyarat Warith, now increase it with a dose of Ziyarat Ashura. If we've topped it up with that Ziyarat Ashura, top it up further with Ziyarat Jami'at al-Kabira. Ziyarat Jami'at al-Kabira, it's a whole lesson of imamats. Once in a week or every day, if you could do it, recite it. Look into the translation of it, and a person, that bond that we have with imams, that will be strengthened. Ma'rifah that we have regarding imamat, that will be increased, and a person gets enlightened. Throughout that time when marhum Imam Khomeini was in Najaf, for all those many years, says that not a day was as such that he did not go to the shrine of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, and did not recite that Ziyarat Jami'ah. Every day he went to the shrine, stand and recite the Ziyarat Jami'at al-Kabira. It's a whole lesson of imamat. And marhum Shaheed Mustafa, his son, says that one day there was a thunderstorm in Najaf and he wanted to go to the haram. I told him, don't go, you can say that same ziyarat from the rooftop. And now, if you look into the ziyarat that we have, or the teachings that we have, they say that no matter where you stand and say salam, that salam gets to the imam. He in reply says that the general practice of the general public, just leave it and don't mess that with the teachings and sayings that we have, that heart can reach, that salam can reach anywhere. Allow me. And he went in that thunderstorm to the shrine, says his ziyarat and comes back. That is that devotion. That is that love. And that love we have to create, we have to strengthen it. The first phrase of this ziyarat says that Assalamu alayka, Assalamu alaykum, Ya Ahl Baytin Nubuwwah. That salutations, salam, be upon you, O household of Nabuwwah. Who are these household of Nabuwwah? It's the 14 Ma'asumeen. That is by default. But sometimes you find that due to extraordinary performance, you find people, apart from these 14, also get into that Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwwah. For example, regarding Salman, says that Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt. So he is not from that Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwwah, but because of that extraordinary performance which he has, the Prophet says that he is also with us. So a person, an individual, can elevate to a rank that he comes and becomes part and parcel of an existence of that entity which is Ahlul Bayt. Then comes and says that وَمُخْتَلَفَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. A place, any Ahlul Bayt, they are those where the Malaika, they frequent a lot. Jabir, he asks our sixth Imam and says that, Imam, do you ever see the angels? Imam says, do we see the angels? The angels, they frequent with us so much that many a times we become restless and they become a means to bother us. Now many a time we want to sit and we find angels sitting behind us. We want to walk, we come to walk and swarms of these angels are around us, just want to kiss our foreheads, hands and feet. So مُخْتَلَفَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ, that's another phrase that we have. وَمَعْدِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. Ma'din means mine. That Ahlul Bayt, they are the mine of mercy, of kindness, of rahmah. Whatever kindness that we have in this creation, may that be in the human beings, may that be in the animals, the love that a mother has to her babies, to her children, a father has to his, or every kindness, every mercy that you see in this entire creation of Allah, they are the source, they are that mine, and from that everyone else gets that mercy and kindness. Elsewhere comes and says that وَكَهْفِ الْوَرَى. Kahf means a place where a person finds shelter. Ashab Kahf means Ashab Kahf, they are those Ashab, those companions who sought shelter in a cave. We say to A'imma وَكَهْفِ الْوَرَى, that they are the shelter of the entire mankind. We want shelter, we want salvation, we want protection. It's from this pure household. وَوَرَثَةِ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ وَالْمَثَلِ الْأَعْلَى وَالدَّعْوَةِ الْحُسْنَى. All these great sayings that we have for A'imma. Now when it comes to the creation, Allah says that the best of all the creation that I have made, it's this human, it's this man. And from among the mankind, the best are the Ahlul Bayt. Who are Ahlul Bayt? Says, Hum Fatimatu wa Abuha wa Ba'luha wa Banuha. And again, this kindness that we see in Ahlul Bayt, it's amazing. That no matter how bad a person was, they have a different approach to them. In Medina, once a person comes and says that, who is the most noble, the most benevolent person in town? I'm a beggar, I'm in need. They show him the address of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. Comes to the house of Abu Abdullah and starts reciting poetry that I am in need, help me. Imam comes to his family and says that now is a good time. If anyone wants to help, help. Spreads out a little piece of cloth in the middle of the room. Everyone comes and puts whatever they have in that. And a little knapsack is made. And Imam, he gives this knapsack or this help and aid that he has from the window to that beggar. He didn't show himself. Why? So that he is not ashamed that I came to the Imam. That's one. Now this beggar, he sees the ring in the hand of the Imam. Now one of the other reasons why Imam didn't show him, now this is the beautiful part of it. On the day of Ashura, when everything has perished, Imam has been killed. He comes by a body which has no head, sees that there is a hand and there is a ring in that finger. Now this person, he chops and takes that ring out and then says, this was the ring of that person who had helped me in Medina. Although Imam knew who he is and what's going to be the ultimate end of that person, he did not show himself to that person so that he doesn't become ashamed. The same attitude, the same mercy, the same kindness can be seen in his father. That Mal'un ibn Muljam, when he struck the Imam, wounds the Imam. Now Imam knew all that. Despite all that, his performance is that so long as he was alive, he served Ibn Muljam. All those benefits that should have been provided to him are provided to him. And even after getting wounded, says to his son that he is my killer. I know that. But this milk that has come for me, give it to him first. That is that mercy they have. That is that kindness they have. And then, again, on the same day of Ashura, we see the kindness of the Imam, and a person would just melt. Shimr la'natullah alayhi. Now, this is the moment when Abul Fadl al-Abbas has been killed. The moment when Ali Akbar has been killed. Qasim's body has been crushed. And in that stampede, Shimr is seated on the chest of the Imam with his sword on the neck of the Imam. What does the Imam say to him? Shimr, get off. I will guarantee the paradise for you if you go away. After seeing all those tragedies, after seeing all those masa'ib, all those atrocities that had fallen on him, this is the kindness that we see in Ma'asumeen. No matter what a person has done, no matter to what level and stage he has reached, وَعَادَتُكُمُ الْإِحْسَانِ. Adat is that performance or that habit that we could say. It's the habit of Ma'asumeen, ihsan, to do good. And it was mentioned yesterday, ihsan is doing good one way, without having an eye of what we get in return. With no eye of a return, adatukumul ihsan, they do good. And that is by default, it's their habit that they do good. وَسَجِيَّتُكُمُ الْكَرَمِ. Now, adatukumul ihsan, it's like the shining of the sun. The sun, from the day it was created by Allah, till today it's been shining, it's been providing that heat and light to everyone, no matter who he is. May that person be a kafir or a mu'min, may that be an animal or a plant or a thing, whatever it is, that sun is shining on them from that day one. Ahlul Bayt too are adatukumul ihsan. The habit that they have, it's good, it's to do good. وَسَجِيَّتُكُمُ الْكَرَمِ. And that is giving. That is their akhlaq. That is their way of life. That is being benevolent. In ذُكِرَ الْخَيْرِ كُنْتُمْ أَوَّلُهُ. Whenever khair, whenever good is reminded, you are the first. You are the foremost. You are the lastmost. You are all that khair, that is Ahlul Bayt. No matter what a person is, no matter how bad a person is, they just give. We have to ask Allah that ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt is given to us. There is a hadith which says that al-ilmu nurun yaqdhifuhu Allah fi qalbi man yasha. Ilm, it's nur. It's a light that Allah places in the hearts of whosoever He wishes. It's nothing that we can get it ourselves. Allah has to give. As we say that ziyarat, they have to invite. As we say that when we stand for prayers and we want to say Allahu Akbar, He has to initiate to accept us. So it is from there. We have to do something so that ilm, that ma'rifah, that initiation from His side happens so that we also know. We also come to know ourselves. In dhukir al-khair kuntum awwaluhu, you are the first, you are the foremost. So on and so forth until the end of the ziyarat. It's a beautiful ziyarat. Look into it, ponder into it, into its meanings, and make it a habit to recite it at least once in a week. End of the ziyarat comes to this point and says that Ya Waliyallah, Or if you are addressing all of the ma'asumeen, you say, Ya awliya Allah. That is, O the awliya, O the custodians, O the friends of Allah. Indeed, between inna bayni wa bayna Allahi azza wa jal dhunuban. That indeed, between me and Allah, there are sins. Many sins. We've done a lot of wrong. You know us, we are impure. You know us, we are filthy. You know us, we are contaminated. All of these sins, you know better than us. You know us better than ourselves, because we forget, we become forgetful. But they don't. They know who we are. Despite all that, they say, come to us, we also have come to them. Knowing the Imams starts from the Imams themselves. What is their performance? We are told and we are instructed that we come to the Imam. Imam says, our fifth Imam, Baqir alayhi salam, says that when our children, they fell ill, when they have temperature, when they've got fever, what we do is that we take some water, sprinkle a few drops of that water on that baby, on that ill, saying, Ya Ummah Fatima. That we also seek her when we are in trouble. When we have problems, we go to our mother. And then he says that when you fell in need, when you are in trouble, you come to us. When we fell ill, when we are in trouble, we go to her. So that ma'rifat of Imam that we are talking about is something which they have implemented on themselves first, that is by increasing their ma'rifah, by approaching her in all needs, in all difficulties. Marhum Imam Khomeini says that we say, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana. Rabbana means, oh our Lord. Atina means give us, bless us. Fid dunya, in this world. Hasana, good. Now what that good is, we don't know. When we say good, everything which is the best in our interest, that is given to us. If we were to pray, we would say a house, a wife, some money, some dollars, so all these little things that we can see, we can understand. But when we say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana to Allah, all that is the best, He gives it to us, which we don't even know, which we also don't know what we require. And then says wa fil akhirati hasana, and in the akhirah hasana, give us that hasana. Imam says, Marhum Imam Khomeini says that Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana means Fatima. Wa fil akhirati hasana, that is Fatima. That is, God, give us Fatima in this dunya, give us Fatima in the hereafter. That is that dua which he says that is what is meant. And during the time of Rasulullah, again, that was the performance of her, that she goes, serves to all these people, and whosoever is in need is given to her. In Mashhad, salawat. During the time of our sixth Imam, now it was mentioned that Imam, they have a frequent contact with mu'mineen. Now she has that frequent contact with the people of Medina. Whenever she finds that someone is disturbed, someone is distressed, she gets to them. The same was the performance of our sixth Imam. Now there was a mu'min in Medina. Imam did not see him for 3 days. And then when he saw him, says that, where were you all these days? That is, all these 3 days. That was a long time for the Imam that he did not see a mu'min. That is that kindness, that the love which they have. He says that, Imam, I was busy at home. My wife, she delivered. And then the postnatal care also was there. I was helping her out with the baby and the mother who had just delivered. Imam says, now what is it? He says, Allah has blessed me with a baby girl. Imam says that, what did you name her? He says, Fatima. Imam starts crying. And before he says Fatima, he says that, with due respect, I have named her as your mother's name. Imam starts crying. And then he says that, did I do anything wrong? Did I disrespect you by naming my daughter with your mother's name? He says, no. Just observe 3 things. That whenever your daughter, she enters upon you, she comes into your room, you stand up in her respect. And then when she comes to you, kiss her hand first. Never slap her. That is because of that name, that great name which she possesses. In Mashhad, there was this lady who comes out from the shrine of our 8th Imam, and after passing all those main roads, she comes to the hotel, and then she comes out of the cab, and there she removes her chadar, puts it into the bag. There was another person standing in the street, comes straight to that lady and says that, don't think that Imam, he's only on the main streets and the main roads and he's not in these inner lanes, that he doesn't see you, that you've removed your chadar off. Then she says that, first of all, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Shia, I'm a Christian myself. I never came to this place but today. And the reason for me coming to Mashhad is that my daughter, she had this blood cancer, and everything was negative. No one could treat her at all. There was no cure, and she was in her last stages. Now the daughter, 6-7 years of age, cries in the laps of the mother, saying that, do you want to see me die, mother? She says, no, I don't want to see you die. Then she says that, I've heard there is a doctor in Mashhad, they call him Imam Raza, and people, they get shifa over there. So you've not tried that door, you haven't knocked that door, try, maybe I get cure, I get shifa. She says that she brought the daughter to the haram of our 8th Imam, and then leaves her in the haram for 2 days. On the 3rd day, because she has blood cancer and her health was deteriorating, she brings the daughter from the haram to the room in the hotel, just leaves her there. The mother just goes to the shrine. Says that, I don't know who you are, but I see all these people clustering around you. They say that for you it doesn't matter whether it's a Muslim or a non-Muslim, whether it's a Shia or a non-Shia. I've just come here to see if what they say is right. I've come to you to complain that if you can, grant shifa and cure to my daughter. And that is the 3rd day when she came to the shrine, and she comes and prays, and then she has that dialogue with the Imam and comes back to the hotel. She takes her chadar off and sees there is a large group of people standing outside. She thought that the daughter has died because she was left alone. And she panicked. Comes inside and sees the daughter who was almost dead sitting, and she says that, Mom, you were not here. A young, beautiful person came, and then I'm what you see now, that shifa has been given to me. So Imam, no matter who that person is, may that be a mu'min, may that be a kafir, whoever it is, they come to them, they grant shifa, no matter who that is. And on a day which is the birthday of our 9th Imam, Imam Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam, we also approach him, we also ask him that, Imam, there is a lot of wrong in our lives. There is a lot of filth in our performance. There is a lot of contamination in our existence. But we haven't stepped away from you. We have come to this door of rahmah, this door of mercy, this door of kindness. Imam, whatsoever is wrong in us, you put it right for us. Imam, all those who have whatsoever wishes, grant them. Imam, never for a moment distance us from you and from Quran. May that be in this world, barzakh or qiyamah. All those who have requested for dua, all those who are ill and ailing, all those who have passed away, to hasten the reappearance of the Imam, and for our children to be enlisted among the best Muslims who ever existed. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ لأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات الفاتحة مع الصلوات. Going to go waste because of that one sin. Imam says that. Now the person who asks this to the Imam, he is a dignified person, he is a practicing Shia. That Imam talks in this way, that if you want to protect your a'mal, you have to be very careful. Now, many a times, performing a salat, for example, it's easy. But safeguarding that prayer, it's tough. A person may have performed a hajj with all those pains, with all those expenses, but maybe he does something, a sin he commits, as a result of which that hajj of his goes waste. The prayers that he has done, all of them go waste. Now, to understand this with a very easy example. For example, someone gives an X amount of money as charity, as sadaqah, infaq, or helps someone, which is good. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Felicitations on the deeds and actions, and it so happens that we lose it. It goes waste. For example, a person throughout his life, he is punctual in all his prayers, in his amal, in his hajj, in his worship, everything. He does a sin. A sin is committed from him, and as a result of that sin, whatsoever he had piled up in these years, they go away, they wash away. One of the sins that do have this effect, and that is they result in the habt amal, in the washing away of the actions of an individual, it's backbiting. And there are many other sins. For example, if someone was a good person for a long time, for many decades in his life, and God forbid, he becomes a kafir. So whatsoever he had done throughout his life, whatever how much it was, all of that is. And tabrikat to you all on this Mubarak and blessed occasion, and that's the birthday of our Imam, Jawadul A'imma, Imam Muhammad Taqi, alayhi salatu wassalam. The title he holds is Jawad, known as Jawadul A'imma. His kunya, it's Abu Ja'far, and born on the 10th of Rajab, lives for about 25 years of age, is poisoned by his wife, and he attains Shahada. Father, it's the 8th Imam Rida alayhi salam, and the mother, it's Sabika, and also known as Khayzaran, salamullahi alayha. I'll quote a hadith from the Imam. We'll talk on this a little bit and then continue with the topic, and that is Ma'rifatul Imam, and knowing the Imam. Can you remove this partition from here? Imam says that لعمري إنك حقيق بأن تسر إن لن تكن أحببته. Says that I swear by my life that you deserve to be happy, and that is if you have not made your tasks ineffective, that is, or that you don't waste or lose your actions. Imam talks about habt amal in this hadith. Habt amal means that we do things, we perform